last night after our like watching our food shit on YouTube, right? You go to bed.
Yeah.
I lay down. When I'm in bed, I pull up TikTok, and I scroll like once, and I get hit with a. I'm describing how I saw it. It's a camping thing. So I was like, oh, outdoor shit. But then they were focused heavily on them cooking while at camping. But it was also a very fine Asian bitch purposely showing her ass at the camera. And it was like all three things, and I was like, and I just looked around the room.
Fucking algorithm put you together, bro.
I looked around the room. I was like, "What government agent is trying to get my ass right now? Because you guys are nailing it. Like her whole
The AI really was coming for you.
the whole three things I like: camping, food, Asian bitches. All three. Anyway, I followed her. Welcome to the Getaway Podcast. I'm your host, Chubs.
Wow.
With the other host, Skelly.
Wow, what an intro. Oh, Bowie's back too.
Oh fuck! I guess is the guest boy.
Anyway, hang tech bros from trees.
It's funny. It's funny. Bo was there for Nosferatu, but he wasn't there for fucking Diary of Vampires, so he would just be here.
My favorite Diary of a Vampire.
It's kind of a diary.
The Greg Heffley spinoff after he turns immortal.
I mean, you know.
He's
I mean, Claudia had a diary.
Fucking
It's a Diary of a Vampire there. But
True.
I kind of like the last episode. I kind of like end shows of just having a conversation and then me cutting into something.
Yeah.
Anyway, that Asian chick is real though. I followed her, and you know, she makes great videos.
Yeah, I bet.
Anyway, welcome. To be honest, not
Today's theme is
vampires.
vampires.
Last week was us going on where we've been, and we didn't like. I think the next day after the podcast we watched Nosferatu.
Yeah, Tuesday because nosferatu came out on VOD, so I bought it immediately
And
because it's like my favorite movie ever.
we were also watching Interview with a Vampire, not Diary, and we'd finish it not too long after. So this week, also Rose is supposed to be here, and then she left, so we don't have Rose, but we have Bowie instead.
Bros watch both those things with us, and she loves vampires, so.
She's a stupid bitch.
Yeah.
So I guess we start with what, Nosferatu?
Yeah.
Let's start with our GOAT though, our director,
Robert Eggers.
Robert Eggers.
My favorite director, minor director, probably. I was like, he was already up there, but then when I said Nosferatu, I was like, he's my GOAT, bro. He's my GOAT. I don't think there's any other movie I've seen multiple times in theaters. I think Nosferatu is the only one I've gone back to a theater and been like, I gotta see that again. Yeah. I'm thinking about doing it again, to be honest, because it's still in theaters.
So, like, let's go through like how he came about, and then we'll go to his movie, like the Nosferatu, right? So you knew about him before I do, obviously, because you showed me Lighthouse.
I think I heard about Lighthouse because Lighthouse made a decent splash because it was Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe. So like, I think it was a Funhouse podcast or some shit they talked about it. So I had like an idea of Lighthouse existing, and I don't know if I watched it before Northman or not, but I watched both of those around the same time.
Yeah. So we were.
And I really enjoyed both.
I think it was a movie night, or it was.
It was.
Okay.
I was like, I have to show you his movies. So I knew you'd like them.
So we did Lighthouse first.
Northman, I was like, yeah, it was more of a maybe, but I was like, I know he'll like fucking Lighthouse.
We did Lighthouse, which actually Bo was there for that too, so this would work out. But we did Lighthouse, and I gave it like a 10 out of 10. I love that movie. I'd watch it again. Like that movie is great. And then we watched Northman. I also like Northman. It's a very fun little revenge story. It's very just a good little fun movie. But it's funny because like it's still like pretty good for just wow. It's like I think Northman I put on the lowest list, but like his low is still
like a 10 out of 10 or some shit, bro. I feel like
what?
I feel like you almost gave it like a 10 out of 10 still. Like, I can't remember what you gave it, but I feel like you gave Saw half.
It was still pretty good. I either give like an 8 or like a high 9. But like that was still good. Like again, there's still good things in that movie. And like Lighthouse, like I'll be honest, I want to rewatch Lighthouse. I feel like there's things I will notice my second watch, which are always fun.
I'm always saying that.
And then we
you
watched...
had a 9.5 out of 10, by the way.
I did? Okay.
So this is his lowest to him, by the way, is a 9.5.
So yeah, the lowest Robert Eggers film I've gotten with him is a 9.5. And then we did Witch, and I honestly was like, oh, let's go to Witch, and I think I gave Witch.
Yeah. Nosferatu was coming out, and I wanted to like round out all the Eggers movies for me, so I was like, I need to see The Witch.
I think I gave that shit a 9.8. Like I gave it a high rating.
I gave it low at Friday. Well, I didn't give it low. I gave it an 8, and it was actually I moved up to 8.5 just because when I first watched it, I was like, I don't know if I'd really rewatch this, but then I did rewatch it. I was like, oh no, I would rewatch this. Because I showed it to someone else. I was like, no, this is rewatchable for me, so I bumped the score up. I still think that's his lowest for me, though. Which is his first film. And he even said himself he couldn't like get his whole vision out. So like, it's still a great movie.
Yeah.
It's still very impressive as a debut film.
I think Nosferatu soundtrack is better, but like I really like the Witcher soundtrack. It's in my reading playlist. Fucking parts of that soundtrack. It's a very good sound. It really gets you on. It's a great scenes for you to use it, where it just gets you on edge, where it almost feels like it's like it's screaming in your ear, like and not like in a bad way.
Yeah,
I like the Witcher soundtrack.
And so
anyway, we did all of that,
came out.
and then
I saw it opening day on Christmas.
So yeah, Skelly on Christmas saw it.
I saw it, and then I saw it again like a week later, essentially.
Let's just tell, because this happened on that day. You had a 2-movie a day. You watched
the second showing, I did the Baby Ratu double feature with Baby Girl.
Tell them about that theater experience with that movie.
It was the most awkward experience I've ever had. Because I'm sitting there, bro, so like I know I'm here. You know, we all know why we're here, essentially. And then the next person enters an old man, and he sat right in the front row.
Gooners.
And I was like, bro, that dude's a fucking veteran gooner. Yeah. And then every single group after that was a pair of 2 girls or a pair of 3 girls. That was the rest. And every time, half of them would look at me and giggle, and I was like, oh no, bro. I was like, it was really like the Always Sunny meme of like them looking at each other across the restaurant. I'm like, we both know why we're here. Like, let's just get this over. And then I had 2 like. I feel like either bored like teenagers or like just out of it sit right next to me. It's like the whole movie I was here giggling, like gossiping, commentary on the movie. Like I really felt like I broke into a girl's sleepover, and like I was just like so awkward. I was like, oh man, this sucks. Like, it was the most awkward theater experience I've ever had.
So yeah, so Skelly, I didn't get to see it in theaters, but Skelly got to see it in theaters. And then fucking
opening day, baby.
Opening day, he was there.
I'll be there for Werewolf 2.
And like other people, so like I was doing pretty good. There was like it was on Twitter, but I was dodging shit. I was like, I'm going in blind as I can. And finally, it came to streaming. And we were able to watch it. And I was sitting there going like, I don't know, will it top Lighthouse for me? And it did. It's now my top. Is Nosferatu, Lighthouse, The Witch, The Northman. And it's fucking amazing.
It's just, I don't know. Like I said before, it's like a movie made for like all my sensibility. It's so beautiful too.
The shots in this fucking honestly, editor Chubs. Honestly, be careful because I don't know what's copyright. But get the editor Chubs. Get the shot of the castle of like from the when he's going in there. Show that shot. I want that shot to be shown. That's one of my favorite shots part of the movie. Or the fucking crossroads. Those two are probably like, or I'm like, holy fuck.
There's the hand over the town. There's the carriage shots.
There's so many good shots.
My favorite cut is actually him entering the carriage, and right as he enters, boom, it cuts like the back of the carriage and it going along the road. It's like a little edit I just really love.
But like it has a lot of great shots in that movie.
I love all the hand shots. Like his hand over like anything is great.
And the soundtrack is phenomenal too.
Soundtrack, costumes, everything about this movie. If you like gothic stuff, gothic horror, like anything,
we should also
like,
say that we had.
Jam, you'll love this movie.
I don't. Was it the first Nosferatu or like which one? We had seen like a Nosferatu before this.
We watched the original one. That's not a film yet.
But we watched the original one, and obviously I'm uncultured, so I was kind of like, God damn.
I'm like, I realized that porn's of it and everything, but it's also my movie. The thing is, I found like it kind of boring with like no sound and everything. Like, it wasn't stimulating my senses because I'm a Gen Z.
I think it was funny. That was a 4-man watch, and you and me were kind of like having to make jokes, but the other two were actually like invested. with Sorian and
Yeah,
Fairy.
I've also seen 1970s Nosferatu. Which is also that one's good. It's more entertaining. Obviously, it's sound and shit.
But acting
So I've seen
is
every one
all
essentially.
the actors are great. The chick, I don't remember her name. Uh, the main
Which
girl,
one, the main chick?
yeah,
Lily Rose Depp.
Lily Rose.
Ellen
I don't
Cutter
know
is her name in the movie.
how the fuck she did those like face stuff, or how like that shit is
Yeah, it's
incredible.
not CGI. It's all her.
That's all her. It's fucking insane that she did that. It is kind of crazy.
I can't think of her name now, but I always say she reminds me of like a modern fucking the chick from Pirates of the Caribbean, the main chick.
Yeah.
She reminds me of that actress, like a modern version.
To me,
She's really like she really has that kind of medieval face when you put her in like a gothic
probably
dress.
because she was dressing that way and like similar hairstyle. I think I told you that night she kept looking like uh Allison from House of the Dragons to me. But
Fucking the other chick was fucking the villain from Deadpool and Wolverine, which is the only other thing I saw her in. So this is a big change for her. For me, I was like, oh shit, she's in a good movie. Oh my god, she can
yeah,
act.
all the characters are really great.
Taylor Johnson gets hated on too much. His performance is great.
Yeah, he's great. I understand him.
A lot of people mischaracterize his character or like say his acting's bad. It's not. Also, Willem Dafoe. People try to say he was overacting. He wasn't. Fuck you. He's an actor. Like it's a plot where a vampire signs a contract in another language to try to steal a dude's wife. Like it's an over the top movie.
Yeah.
Like so, of course he's this eccentric over the top person. He's an actor doing an over the top movie.
Also, the character is supposed to like they really talk about how the character, like how in the science community he's seen as a little quirky and
Yeah,
queer.
we see he's literally like that was country in the science community because he studies cults. So they're essentially all things out of his mind anyway.
Yeah. Fucking.
The doctor was also good.
Hey, no, let's be honest.
I feel like Knock doesn't get enough credit either because he plays a great little like crazy maniac guy.
Like, let's also be honest. When it comes to Willem Dafoe, you love those roles. Like the like when he goes from like that kind of like quiet like oh dude boy, and they just start
Also,
getting
to be honest,
crazy.
I'm not gonna hate Willem Dafoe in anything
And he
ever.
like oh yeah, like Willem Dafoe.
I don't think you can show me a single Willem Dafoe performance out of his whole career, and I'd be like, I don't like it. I don't think it's possible.
I think Willem Dafoe is kind of like Samuel Jackson energy, to where it's like no matter how dog shit this is, I know at least that guy is giving it all his all.
I was thinking Denzel, so this is essentially the same. I
Denzel,
just don't think you can put out a performance
like
that I would think, oh, that's bad.
like I watched The Equalizer. It's like people like really like dig that movie. To me, it's like whatever. I'll be honest. I think if Denzel wasn't in that movie, I don't think anyone would give a shit. It's only
Yeah,
because
it's like
Denzel.
it's all like on Bruce Willis. It's all it's like that's how action movies always are. It's like all riding on like the main character's charisma, essentially.
Yeah, Denzel's great. So like works like in like Samuel L. Jackson's been some really bad ones. But I'm always kind of like, well, at least he was good. Like.
And Denzel's like an actor's actor too. Like he does Shakespeare and like plays and shit. Like I really respect him as an actor.
Yeah,
That's what pissed me off the other day. I saw that Leo could do the cop from Training Day, but Denzel couldn't do Wolf on Wall Street or fucking Great Gatsby. And I was like, Denzel could knock both those out of the park. I think he'd be a really good Wolf on Wall Street. Actually, I feel like Pearson. Obviously, he'd be a black version, but I feel like he could bring the same energy he had for Alfonso in Training Day and like really knock that shit out the park.
I think he'd be great.
He has to be a Great Gatsby. It's like I don't know what these people are talking about.
Yeah, he'd be great. But yeah, Knox. A funny thing. I think if anyone has watched, like, if you watched like a bunch of Robert Eggers like stuff before you got to know Nosferatu, like I did and he did, when the Knox was appear when you don't see his face, I immediately went, I know who that is. And Skelly went, no, it's not real. It's not. I thought the same thing.
Like, you saw a maniac guy naked on the floor. You're like, that's Willem Dafoe, isn't it? And then it's not. That's very much how the character is in fucking Northman, especially. He's like that crazy, like fortune, like teller guy.
But that guy is fucking great. His shit was fucking funny. I loved his character. He was
My good fellow, why would you do that?
Yeah, because he bites the guard and he goes, "My good fellow, why would you do?"
He might set up a bird, and that's all he just reacts. My good fellow, why? Like it's the most casual reaction to seeing a dude bite the head off a bird ever. But
now let's get to the man, Bill Skarsgård. Jesus,
I don't think they show said who he was, bro, because I don't think anyone would have been able to figure out who played Orlok if you didn't know specifically.
man, that was really good for him. Like, first of all, art makeup. Jesus Christ, the Nosferatu costume. They for a good portion of the movie, he's more in shadows. He's like off in the corner. They're keeping it really hidden. But
Yeah,
obviously,
they hide
later
him
on, they
up.
start really showing him, and oh my god, he looks so good. I mean,
You
like he
see his
looks
nose
gross, but like you also do see his Nosferatu cock. But God, he's so good.
But his
Also,
voice. Ooh,
his
his fucking
voice.
voice.
Now, what'd you say? Like, what was the story behind like how what happened to his voice?
I think he got top like maybe like an opera person or some shit. I think, and he had to make his voice a whole octave earlier, and they essentially told him not to do it because there's a good chance it's going to permanently affect your voice, and he did it anyway, and you can kind of hear the permanent effect that has on his voice now. 'Cause he's a whole octave deeper than his regular voice for that whole movie,
Yeah.
so his voice is kind of permanently affected by it.
But I will say he does have like a history of doing some out there shit. Like in It, like I watched It movies. I don't know about you guys.
I think,
Yeah. So the eye thing, that's not CGI. He can literally just do that.
yeah,
That's such a crazy.
I
Like,
know.
I thought that was CGI until an interview there where Bill Hader is like, yeah, like,
He
I
does
think
it.
he was like, you can do it. He goes, oh, this, and he fucking did it. It's fucking creepy.
You know,
But I saw him. The only other thing besides It, I've seen him also besides Nosferatu was Barbarian, which the entire time we're like, oh, he's the bad guy. He's the like,
one, he stapled himself in like horror movie villain like history. I feel like because his monsters like that he has Pennywise, and now Orlok under his belt, and they're both phenomenal. Like I think they're both definitive versions for me at least.
yeah,
Nosferatu probably a lot of people prefer the other ones than that, but to me they're both like the definitive versions.
yeah, his Pennywise clown is really good.
I also have been a Bill Skarsgård Dick Rider for a long time because I first saw him in what's that show called? Fucking, it's a show where he's essentially a vampire. It's like Pine Hollow, fucking something like that. But he essentially plays a vampire, and like he fucks his cousin, and his mom's making out with him and shit.
What the fuck?
It's a it's a really weird show. It's like it's kind of a soft show, but he played a cool vampire. I thought he was the coolest dude ever. So I've kind of been a fan of him since that. So I've always kind of kept an eye on his career.
Yeah, fucking.
So I always knew he could do it. The other thing that I would say is honestly Nicholas Holt too. And like this movie made me a fan of Nicholas Holt, to where I literally watched her number 2 just because he was the main character. I was like, "Fuck it, bro! I like Nicholas Holt now," which is Thomas Hutter in the movie. And like originally, now it's supposed to be Harry Styles. And I'll be honest, I did not think Harry Styles could do
that-
those facial
That
expressions.
is just so insane to me. To know that could have been Harry Styles. I'm
Like,
like, no
what-
way.
Like that fear he has in that like Orlok moment in the castle. I don't think Harry Styles could do that. Like that's like the most terrified I've ever seen anyone ever in anything.
Yeah, might go
Like-
who was Beast.
It was also, funnily enough, was supposed to be Bill Skarsgård at some point, where the version was Bill Skarsgård as Thomas and then Mads Mikkelsen as Orlok. But again, I think it worked out perfectly this way.
Yeah.
I think every actor is phenomenal in this movie. Like, it's just such a good cast. Like, even the doctor, who's like the father from The Witch, he's also in The Northman. But like,
yeah,
again.
he looked so fucking different. Cause like it's like the voice.
yeah, we
tells-
recognize his voice
the voice,
instantly.
the voice gets you. But like I looked at him and I was like, who the fuck is that? And I was like, that is not like him at all. And I just heard the good fellow, and I was like, oh, okay.
He's also going to be Galactus in the MCU.
What the fuck?
Yep, he's Galactus in the Fantastic Four movie.
Getting that MCU money.
Fuck him. And also another thing is that Ellen was originally going to be Anna Taylor-Joy, but she got busy doing Furiosa, which I think worked out best for everyone involved.
Yeah.
Because I really like Furiosa, and we really like Nosferatu, and I really like both their performances.
Yeah, they were good. Everything was just good. Like,
I said again, the amount of dick in this movie, bro. Like, I have a blanket with like one of the carrot shots on it. I have a tumbler with like the sigil on it. I have a sweatshirt. I'm getting a ring, an album. Like, I have a bunch of merch of this movie, and like I only want to get more. Like, I love this movie.
yeah, it was not too long after Robert Eggers announced that he was gonna try to do Werewolf. And
Well, he got announced for two things: it's Werewolf and a Labyrinth sequel,
yeah,
which he's writing.
which means we have
I've
to
never seen
watch.
Labyrinth, but I did see a bunch of people mixed on that one,
Yeah, we have to watch
which I can understand because
Labyrinth.
it's like a classic thing. So probably most people probably don't think it needs a sequel. Also, it's what like David Bowie,
Yeah. Good.
but and Werewolf, which I prefer vampires, but werewolves don't get enough love in cinema, so he can give some love to werewolves. I'll be there. Especially because I fucking man, you know what trailer I got tired of at the movies? Wolfman, bro. I saw that I've seen that trailer like 10 times, bro. I hate that movie. I've never seen it yet. I just hate it. It's every theater. Fucking that trailer played was Wolfman.
Yeah. I also want to watch. This is very off topic, but I want to watch Christopher Nolan's Odyssey when it comes out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Even though apparently we try to make fun of people for not knowing anything about the Odyssey.
Yeah, listen, it's one thing to not read it. It's another thing to never heard of it. Like, again, that's crazy to me. Especially when that original guy just was like, I played Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I just thought that's where it came from.
It kind of
Bro.
felt like when like
They referenced it. There's like myths and that shit. Like, your curiosity wasn't set off at all to where you were like, let me go look.
you know what it kind of reminds me of, and to be fair, it's something where I'm like I'm shocked I never figured this out. Little fun fact for you guys: I really love Western stuff. I really like Western. I like the time
Oh, yeah, you
period.
don't know Jesse James.
Yeah, I love. If you don't know me, I love Western stuff. Just because I just think it's a funny time period. It's a fun one. Outlaw the West. Like it's like a time period to me where it's like on the brink from like true civilization, but also still just that wildness. You know what I mean? And I knew Billy the Kid, plenty of people. I did not know who the fuck Jesse James was.
The most famous outlaw ever.
And when I told Skelly, I knew I fucked up when he went, what?
He was like literally the Michael Jackson of the fucking era, bro.
And I was low key kind of going like, I don't know about Michael Jackson. Cause we said Michael, I was like Michael Jackson. So he showed me the murder of Jesse James. It's funny because I always forget the guy who killed him.
The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford.
There we go.
Is the movie
title. I watched it and I was sitting there going like, because like there's crimes and things he does where I'm like, wait, I've seen that adapted in the thing. I'm like, what the fuck? Like there's certain things, and I was like, what the fuck? I also like his whole him the fucking ice block everything. I was like, Jesus.
He had books about him when he was in his 20s. He already had books written about him at the time that were famous. Like,
and then later on, I rewatched something, and it has like a joke I like, and literally like they bring up Jesse James. I'm like, oh fuck, like how did I not like?
You're gonna hear that in Breaking Bad too. You're gonna hear you want to be like killing Jesse James and then make you Jesse James.
Yeah, fucking.
Which is essentially the theme of that movie too.
But yeah, so. But like again, I think when it comes to Odyssey, okay, we'll go back to Vampire in a second. It's just a funny topic. I remember it pissed you off. You got really mad at the guy, not because he didn't read the book, because like not everyone would know it, and the guy's profile pic was of the Assassin's Creed game, The Odyssey.
That's where he thought it was from. That like I actually like that game. It's the only like kind of new Assassin's Creed I really like actually enjoy on its own. Yeah, that's because it's ancient Greece with a bunch of mythological shit. It's like there's all this shit in there. You just never like. Again, you just thought the game made all of it. You like your curiosity was never triggered to where you were like, I'll go Wikipedia some of this stuff. Or look it up. Like nothing, man.
When I was doing the Hellboy arc, when he's pretty much royal like battle royale for like Russia, every person that came up, I was like, I'm just too curious on you, and I was go, oh shit. But yeah. Anyway, but nosferatu was fucking amazing. It was really good. His best work. I like it. It felt great because like I usually don't really do like all a director's work, to be honest. Like there's only like a few I could really name where I really done most of their work, and it was kind of nice to kind of see like all the way to his beginning to where he had landed. And I was like, damn, bro, you really fucking. To be honest, in my own opinion, I think he hit the ground running already great with Witch. To be honest, but he's really ascended. And I can't wait to see where he gets on later on.
I watch anything he does.
Yeah. I think the only other director where I've watched like almost everything is probably Quentin.
I've watched Off Quinn too.
And I've seen like a few things of Nolan. I need to see some other shit to finish it off.
I think I've seen most of Nolan's. I don't know. I could like Tenet, Interstellar. I haven't seen.
Yeah.
I don't think I think of. But vampires lead us to the other surprise hit we watched, which was Interview with a Vampire, the show.
So here's the thing, right? This was fucking a while ago. Like, I feel like a year, 2 years ago, or something. In my server, I watched with two other people, Interview with a Vampire, the movie, starring Brad Pitt. It was okay, and I was kind of like, all right, and I was kind of like happy that the interview guy was Christian Slater because I love Christian Slater, and I was like, all right, and it was fine, and I forgot about it, and so Skelly had told me he wanted to watch Interview with the Vampire, like his TV show, and I was like, they made a fucking show, and I was kind of like, why do you want to watch that? And he's telling me, he's like, there's some cool clips, but
Yeah,
some gay
like, so
shit.
that show surface on Twitter all the time. So all I know was a gay vampire show. That was like how the clips were. But then I literally think I saw the clip of Lestat punching a hole in the priest's head. And I was like, I should watch this.
Yeah.
Like that's literally the clip that made me go, you got me.
First things first, like 100 times better than the movie. Just already a better to me adaptation and just better. Obviously, I didn't read the book, but for what I've heard, it's a better adaptation.
I like Louis being black too. I like the little things with his race, which
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think he's black in the book, but I really like the race change. I really like Lestat. Lestat is like the GOAT, obviously.
Very character.
He's so good in that. And I've watched I've watched a couple people react to the show, and everyone, it's like first season, they're like, "Fuck Lestat, he needs to die." And the second season, they're like, "I miss Lestat," which is very funny. It's like the effect he has. It's like he's like the charismatic heart of that show. And Louis great. Don't get me wrong too. All the actors are great.
Yeah, everyone's great.
But we started watching. I really did not expect I thought I was gonna enjoy it, but I didn't expect to really enjoy it as much as I did.
I think I went to go food. I came back and they pretty much just click play, and I was kind of like, I'll watch for 5 minutes and I'm gonna fuck off.
Yeah, it was me and Rose. I was like, I was gonna watch it by myself, but I was like, I know Rose likes vampire stuff, so I was like, hey Rose, you want to watch it with me? Because I had essentially abandoned because I was watching that with her. I started watching it with someone else, so I was like, hey, you want to watch this with me instead then? So that was what that was, and then he came back and he just decided to hop in and watch with us the first episode.
So I was like, only 5 minutes, and then it was episode 3 or 4, and I was like, oh man.
It's so good. It's such a good show. It's really just really well done. Again, obviously if you don't like gay stuff, I don't really know what to tell you. You're not gonna like it, I guess. But I don't know. I thought it was kind of everything was really nice. It was well done.
Right?
You're rooting for him and Lestat, especially when after you kind of find out this in season 2, you're like one true couple, Lestat and Louis. Let's go.
I'll say that going on the gay stuff. If for some reason really weirded out by it, I will say I don't think it's I think there's one more where it's really there, but I didn't really care. But it's when they're floating fucking in the first season, early on. Other than that, it's just basic unless you're just full on I hate gays, then I think it's mostly fine.
It's not like they're eating porn or anything. It's just standard sex stuff. It's just two dudes. It's fine.
But
no, it doesn't bother me.
I'm really glad. I mean, it was still there, but I'm really glad they toned down what the movie did with Claudia. Claudia, obviously
in the book she's 5.
Yeah, in the book she's 5, but in the movie. Now in the movie, I don't remember her exact age, but she looked 8, but she maybe was around 8 to 10. She looked the actress looked young, and in the movie she wants to fuck Lou, she wants to fuck the main character bad, and it's very weird. And then she gets a sex slave, and it's super even fucking weirder. That was the point where I was like, what the fuck? Anyway,
apparently the books would start the trope of no kid vampires. No, I didn't know that. But apparently it's that book that started the whole that being a rule for most vampire thing.
Yeah, but yeah. So fucking let me get in this. It's not really I love the way the story's told so much. The way
the review popping back and forth. It's so good.
Because the thing about it is, at first it's just Louis' point of view for a while Daniel kind of gives little newspaper things, and then Claudia's journal. So then we're getting Louis and Claudia point of view. But like we start getting more characters with different point of views, but then Daniel starts bringing up history of France, and the thing this movie starts doing is it really starts showing the bias of some of these characters,
and how unreliable Louis is as a narrator, because he's already like, one of the big things even at the beginning is that Louis, it's like how the way he talks about Lestat's completely changed from on the first interview like 20 years ago to now. Like he's completely changed the way he talks like about these people. So like it's a lot of time. At first you're like going along with like Louis. Like, you're with Louis, essentially, and then, like, you get Daniel pushing back a bit. And then you get Claudia really shaking things up, where you're like, oh, what the fuck? And then in Season 2, you get, like fucking Lestat, and you're like, oh, fuck. Like, it really plays with, like, perception, how everything is different, to depending on who you are in that situation.
Yeah, so, like, for the first bit, it's, like, really, like, it's really going, like, I kind of want this is true, but they kind of leave it there. Season 2 does a really good job at, like, near the end, where fully like just like a scene you saw that you were like that's guaranteed, they just flip that shit, and it's so fucking good. Like I'll say right now, I do recommend the show. I recommend nosferatu as well, but going to the show, I think at this point I'm at the ready to start saying spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, watch later. Go watch the show. Anyway,
watch the show. It's really worth it, especially like vampires.
Anyway, let's get into it. Rashid, who not Rashid, fucking Armand. I tricked myself.
He was originally Rashid.
He was really Rashid. He's the fucking fake Rashid.
That's the first twist in like the modern day. Towards the end, is that Rashid is Armand, a vampire.
Yeah. let me. I'll say a critique here. This is probably, if you notice, my point was down a little bit on season 2. I don't think season 2 bad. Is the only, and it really bothered me. At least for me, it really bothered me more than I thought it would. Is the Claudia actor change? I get it, but like her accent and shit was really throwing me the fuck off. Like it was talking, she was fine, but when she would have to get like angry or get loud, I feel like her accent was like slipping in too hard.
I don't think the actress was bad, but like I was really attached to original Claudia, and this actress like was originally British, and like it was coming into contact with like the Creole accent she was trying to deal, and like they're really like this, like making this weird like middle ground.
Yeah, it was
like it was just fucked up.
I'll be honest, like for me, it's her accent would change a bit, and it's like when you're sucked in, it's like your brain's kind of going, what the fuck, So again, like I'm gonna.
It also sounds nothing like OG Claudia.
Yeah, I'm just really gonna assume that maybe like they didn't have enough time really for like a dialogue.
No, it's OG. Oh yeah. You got that.
Yeah. I don't think they had enough time to really get a dialogue coach to really get it through for her. So I think they just kind of had to roll with it. Again, talking, she kind of can play it off. That's why talking, like, I'm like, that's fine. But it's when she has to, again, acting wise, she's a good actor. Nothing bad with the actor. I don't think it's bad with her.
No, I honestly think, especially like her death scene, like she's really good at like portraying those emotions.
So like, I just don't want to seem like I'm saying like fuck this actor. No, she's great. It's just I don't think they had enough time to get a dialect coach to help her get past the accent. And to be honest, you're going British to do a Kroll, and that's like fucking crazy. So.
And I also really like the original Claudia.
So. Yeah,
like the original Claudia kind of embodied the whole role. So like when it switched, it's like
But I just love how the storytelling is going. I really like the I would say like the philosophy of the characters, because like I'm real almost like a lot of these characters are hypocrites. But the thing is, the show will call it out. Like Louis' whole thing is that like he's like, I don't want to be a monster. He like eats animals and shit. But there's straight up points where you're just like, that guy was innocent, or like it's like. It's like Lestat was like killing a guy, and he's like, I don't want to like, be brutal, and he picks up a stray cat and bites into its fucking neck as it screams. And like, I don't know, man, it's hard to go like, you're not a monster when you do something like that in front of me.
Yeah, it's like Lestat says, Louis is the most human of the vampires, but at the end of the day, he's still a vampire.
But like, yeah.
Also, I like when he gets into Pimp Louis mode. Like, I gotta remind these motherfuckers.
So start out. Lestat is the top of it, right? Lestat is charming. Yeah. He's funny. My funniest thing Lestat ever said when Claudia's getting mad, she goes, "Which one are you gonna fuck me? Hey, you're too young.
You're not my type. I like curvier women or whatever."
She's being impulsive.
Like women with a full figure, I think is what he said.
Yeah, it's like that's funny as shit. But like he can get angry. It's good. Lestat's actor is great. I love it. I like everything about Lestat. Powers are kind of broken. But
yeah, he's OP.
Louis is actually honestly when you're like, the audience will usually like a main character unless the show's making you want to go fuck this guy. But
Louis and Claudia are really like the heart, like the emotions of like the
Yeah.
show because they're like very human.
Louis is great. I think the funniest thing about Louis is that when we first meet him, he's in pimp mode. But when he gets Lestat, I will say Louis gets more emotional.
Bottom, bro.
But he comes to bottom, but like he kind of loses like the bite in my eyes. He gets more emotional and everything, and I think it's really interesting that when he's with Lestat, he's more, I don't know how a better word to say it than the woman, more emotional, more like lower on it.
More vulnerable.
Vulnerable, that's the word. But when he leaves Lestat and he gets like with Armand, he's way more dominant. He's more aggressive, and then he goes back to pimp mode at the end.
It's funny because Armin is also controlling him completely. Like I said, well, like a little thing I noticed that I liked is that in their house, the bookcases are all like on the ceiling, and he can't levitate. So Armin literally controls what he reads, which is like a little hint towards a relationship before you ever really know what it actually is. Is that it's like Armin's like the puppet master, like he completely controls it, you know. And it goes along with the twist of Armin where he directed the play. It's like this guy who stays in the back of the scene you think is like kind of like submissive and everything, but he's really pulling all the strings here.
No. Also, like a really great thing in season 1, the whole season, it's really painting going like fuck Lestat, and it's like we get shown the scene of them turning Claudia, and it's also the fight, especially in the fight. There's a point when Lestat pulls Louis upstairs, and the way it's shot in season 1 is we're on Claudia. Hearing yelling that's muffled.
You don't see anything until Louis is thrown through the wall.
Yeah. And then in season 2, we see the other side of that fight because they're showing that Lestat wasn't as he wasn't as bad as it was.
Trying to stop. He's trying to calm down. He's like, I don't want to do this. I'm gonna hurt you. Like, please, let's stop. And then Louis like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm gonna carve off your head with a kitchen knife. Like, what the fuck?
It was funny because like when Louis started saying that shit, we both went, all right, that beating was kind of warranted.
Yeah, and then Lestat showed him the pimp hand. Like, you literally like it shows Lestat's face as like he's struggling not to do this, and then like it's like it becomes harder as Louis keeps talking, and it's gone, and you see his face, and he beats the fuck out of Louis. Like the shit he does to Louis, man. Like, god damn, he taught him a lesson.
And then also the turn where he's literally trying to tell Louis like it's a bad idea to do this.
That also really shows like Lestat's relation with Claudia, which is like he probably did love her, but he was a good part of it. He's probably afraid to get attached because he knows that he's never gonna have an actual life. She's gonna go crazy. Like you've damned her essentially. Like you've made her life infinitely worse by not killing her.
Yeah,
which is also probably why he lets her die. Because it's probably like to him in that moment, it's like I have to fix this mistake. But then she looks at him at the end and it like breaks him. Because like it's like that's my daughter, and then she died.
I really like the thing where when the players' rehearsal, Lestat's like, "What about Claudia?" And they're like, "We'll have 4 judges in our mind," and he just yells, "You don't underestimate the strength of Claudia."
Yeah, because as much as like they've gone back and forth and he hates her, like he still knows. Again, we mentioned this. Claudia's way more Lestat than Louis. She has some of like the humanity of like Louis, but like her like fucking like
season 1, she is fucking scared, like a humming and shit.
She's a serial killer, bro.
She's a serial killer, dude.
Like Louis be talking all lovey-dovey about her, and then just like she has tits in her fucking drawer and shit. Like she's crazy.
She is fucked up.
And again, it's like not really her fault because again, it's like the child chemicals like in her mind like forever. Like also like that's some of the horrible shit. Like she'll always be a virgin. So, like, she always has to break down whenever she has sex and shit. Like, there's some fucked up shit going on. And the stuff with Bruce, of course. Like, she has a bad life.
Yeah. Going on Bruce. On the Bruce thing. Bro, first of all, Bruce is a hater for the game of it, man. Louis, like...
Who the fuck you trying for Claudia? I'm gonna find that bitch.
Claudia runs away. So what Louis does with his powers, he mentally telepathically calls out, Claudia, come home, Claudia. Bruce, who's a vampire in Louisiana time, just hears Claudia and just goes, "Fuck it, I'm gonna find that bitch." He finds her.
Some horrible stuff to her
now,
that we don't technically know because the pages are cut out, but we know.
We only see him smack her, and it closes off. Louis gets emotional, and Daniel goes, "Where are the pages?" We are never shown the pages, but it's super heavily implied how fucked up it was.
Well, we know she got raped.
We know it's
like,
rape.
definitely.
Rape is a definitely. But
Kept under the floorboard.
But she mentioned.
She mentioned.
Because I at first was like, oh, she got raped in the night and then fucked off. But then it's implied.
For like weeks.
It implied that she was kept for a while.
No, she says he keeps her for weeks until he gets bored and is like, I'm tired of your sorrowful face or something, and leaves. Like he keeps her under the floorboard, like with her like legs and like arms broken and shit. Like he does some fucked up shit to her. Like, so like this is like as much as I think Claudia had to die in the sense that she was never gonna, like, because of how she is, like, as a kid, she's never gonna be happy and just always gonna be causing like chaos. She kind of had to go because of it. Like, it is sad to see her go, and it's not her fault, you know.
Yeah,
because she was turned as a kid.
I will say it is kind of crazy because her whole thing is about finding the vampires because she doesn't trust that. Kind of crazy. Your first vampire is that, and still afterwards you're like, let's find others. Like,
yeah, she's kind of bad at picking them because then the second one's the Romanian ones that try to kill you, and then the third one's the troop who kills you. Like, honestly, I think vampires are probably just assholes in general, and you had the best one at first.
Lestat was right. I was just like, don't trust.
Lestat's like an asshole, but you didn't realize how good you had it until you went every other vampire.
Yeah.
The troop, I really like the troop. I really like the main like villain guy because he literally looks like Dracula. Like, he looks like the most Dracula vampire guy ever, except blonde. I don't know. I just really like his look.
Yeah.
And I think he played that role very well. Armand, I really like. I like the like slowly unveiling like Armand and all those like his actual like responsibilities when he's actually done.
Yeah. Again, True had a lot of like cool characters. I like the father and son, where Louis goes, the son is older, and it's because the son wouldn't want to be turned until he was on stage.
Yeah. Fucking. I like that Armand turned Daniel out of like spite. Like, you really know Daniel really hurt Armand because Armand's never turned a vampire himself. Like, it's his one like thing. Is that he's disgusted by the idea of turning someone to a vampire. Like, you know, Daniel doing that just really fucking like wounded him. And that's the one person he's ever turned.
Let's actually get into Daniel. I fucking adore Daniel.
No,
Daniel, he's a human. Well, for most of the show until like the very end, but he's a human. And Daniel's thing is that he's maybe like a journalist, maybe a reporter, but he's really good at getting people to talk. He's really good at getting in their thing.
He's like standard asshole too.
But
like,
he's also an asshole. Here's the thing about Daniel. He's in a room with two very powerful vampires that could kill him easily. And he just shits on him constantly. And when he knows he should poke harder, he pokes harder. Now, obviously, some points he'll fucking, flex on him. But, like, that still doesn't... It only stops him for that session. The next session, he's back to it. And, man, he just pulls and pulls and pulls an Armand until Lily goes, you don't kill him. And so Armand's like, bet, and fucking turns Daniel.
It's also because of Daniel that we first start seeing the unreliability of, like, Louis' narrative. Like, before Claudia's journals, it's really Daniel poking out, like, shit and pointing out stuff and challenging him that makes you realize, oh, okay, like, Louis, it's not all, like, how Louis, like, says it is. Like, I don't know, Louis is so great, too, like, but story, like, I really like when, like, he says to put, like, Lestat's version of, like, the turning Claudia into the book, because, like, he always kind of rejected that. And he's like, no, it probably is, like, his version. Put it in there. That is how it happened. Or, like, burying him where he's like, Dan's like, Claudia hated you for a while. Why is that? And it shows that he literally choke slams her against the wall. It's like, I'm not going to burn him. Essentially doing what the exact thing Lestat did to Claudia that made him snap. Like, he does that to her, too. Like, it just kind of also shows, like, Claudia, like, how she felt was always, like, kind of justified, where it's never her. It's always, like, Louis and Lestat, Louis and Armand. It's, like, it's never, like, her. Despite all that, like, Louis talks about her, you know?
Yeah.
Which is, again, why she seeks her own companions. Why she wants a companion of her own. Because, like, she doesn't have anyone. Like, she knows she's always going to be third wheel, essentially. And so, when she finally gets that person, they die together. Which is beautiful in its own way. Because, Madeline could have just been like, she's newly turned, especially. She could have easily been like, hey, I'll join the coven. But no, she's like, my coven is Claudia. I'll die with Claudia. And that's a very beautiful moment.
Yeah.
And again, I really like the touch of, you could tell from Lestat's face that he was the last thing Claudia ever saw. And like how that's what essentially breaks Lestat to where he like starts living in destitution.
Also, so like after Claudia's death, it's really good. I love this moment. Louis is getting ready for his like execution order, and well, first we're showing that it looks like Armand telling the theater, "Hey, banishment," but later on,
Mind trick everyone to say banishment. Yeah.
But later on, it's revealed that it's Lestat. And also a great point because like they really do a good callback on the powers, because like because Armand is very powerful, and Armand's like, "It took every bit of my being," and then Daniel goes, "How many soldiers in the house?" And Lestat just went, "Go home." He did that pretty easily. But so anyway, after he gets banishment, banishment is going into a fucking rock fucking coffin.
Well, essentially banishment isn't that, but the head common guy essentially like improvises and makes a worth death. Essentially, is what it's meant to be. Is banished into a coffin full of stone to survive the death. Like, so he essentially
Also,
on the fly makes him a way worse death for.
Also, to keep them on the stage, and it goes into the rocks in a minute. To keep on stage, they cut their tendons on their feet and everything. So his shit still cuts, but it heals. But it heals with the rocks in it. And Louis says that he's never cut them out, so he always has rocks in his fucking feet.
And another fucked up thing is his meditation spot where he digs his feet in is those same rocks. Like, to have a fucked up connection. That's his meditation spot that he digs his feet into those same rocks. Another thing I like with the cut Achilles, though, is fucking Lestat saying, like, Claudia's gonna be able to stand. You don't know her strength. And she does. She does indeed stand with the cut tendons. So I really like that, like, full come around there.
But anyway, fucking Louis breaks free and crashes out. First of all, he starts off crazy. Then he goes into pimp mode. But he gets a whole ass crash out where he starts killing the coven. And
he kills the whole coven except for one guy.
Yeah, he kills pretty much everyone. And the last three people that weren't killed were Lestat, who really wasn't part of the coven, but he was there, Armand, and Samuel. Or Sam.
The vampire Sam Bradley or some shit.
Who becomes an informant.
Well, he was already part of it. That's how he got away, because remember they say we always wondered how he disappeared so good. It's because he was already part of that organization.
Yeah. So
that watches the supernatural community. So
him and Armin track down Lestat, who's in Magnus's dungeon. And a very interesting thing, because Claudia always like assumed that he was lying about Magnus, but we do see the dungeon where Lestat is talking about the shit that happened. And
I saw this is the thing that like someone pointed out, a character thing of like it seems to be like Lestat looks down when he lies. So like when he's talking about Magnus and thing, he's like he doesn't look down at all, but when he mentions killing Antoinette, he looks down. So that could be a thing, like a little character he has. He looks down when he lies.
Yeah.
So like that his origin is true.
Yeah. So, which means it's really the funny thing of torture you, turn you, and then go, guess what, motherfucker? Bye.
Burn myself alive.
Anyway, but he's in the dungeon. And Louis and Armin come there, and you get the fire, and he goes, I have the blood of Magnus. And he goes, even the blood of Magnus can't handle two vampires. And Lestat looks at Armin and it's like,
I have the blood of Akasha.
I have the blood of Akasha. And Louis kind of is like, and he looks at Armin and goes, seems he does not know the power of the blood. Skelly looked it up.
Queen of the Damned, like original vampire queen lady who's the origin of all vampires. There's a movie called Queen of the Damned, which I think is about that.
But yeah, apparently, Lestat said he can't die unless he...
Well, neither can Louis, because that's Louis' blood, too.
Yeah, so he can't die unless he chooses to die.
I don't know if it's he can't die or he can't be burned, unless he wants to. I don't know which it is.
But he says that,
he's like, I'm not in the mood.
I'm not in the mood.
Well, I think it might be death because that also shows that, like, Louis was really willing to die to Louis, which is why he gives him permission when, like, Louis is about to cut his throat. He says, I'm glad it's you, of all people. So that shows that, like, Lestat really meant that because he allowed Louis at that moment to be the one to do it.
Yeah. But, anyway, so they fuck off. Well, they kind of like this idea of where he's like, I'll give all my love to Armand.
I'm going to kill you by gay with Armand. Yeah. Essentially, it's kind of like they both punish themselves because Louis doesn't really love Armand and he knows this kind of deep down. So he punishes himself by putting him in that, like, controlled relationship. and like Lestat lives in destitution, which is him punishing himself for Claudia. So they essentially both punished themselves for like decades.
Yep. Anyway, when we get to the end where Daniel's like, all right, cool. Anyway, last thing here, and it leads to Louis crashing out on Armand, and we fuck off to where Louis is running down to Louisiana to track down Lestat. Anyway, he finds a hurricane's coming. They have their final talk and they hug, and it cuts to Daniel in the interview giving his book thing, and he walks out and he takes off his glasses, showing his turned eyes while he's talking.
What happens before that?
And he's talking to Louis.
What happens before he meets like Lestat? Lestat's like the last thing there, right? It's the last thing in the show.
Anyway, a funny thing with Daniel, because all they ever have different hunting styles. And it's probably the most Daniel thing coded ever, where Daniel just sees a headphone guy, and he's walking down, he goes, hey, where'd you get those headphones? And you just hear him eating the guy.
Yeah, essentially a lot of vampires are also gonna like come in to kill Louis, and Louis like, come get me, motherfuckers. I own the night. Which again, Louis is one of the most powerful vampires too, because he also has the blood of Akasha, because he has Lestat's blood. So, and then season 3, I'm really looking forward to. It's gonna be Lestat on tour. Like he becomes a rock star, and so it's him telling like his version of events as he's on tour, which I'm really looking forward to because that sounds awesome.
So, but yeah, that show was really good, really good,
really, really good show. Really, both fucking really good. Vampires are back, baby.
Yeah, and then here lately, I have been rewatching From with Rose and Skelly, and we had finished season 1. I'm already finished the first 2 seasons, but I was showing them. 'Cause I love From, and the first monsters are from are like pretty much vampires. And again, I love that show. There's so much I want to talk about, but I have to wait for everyone to get caught up. But yeah, again, I can't wait for that. But yeah, vampires are back. It's the year of the vampire.
Year of the vampire. We have the Witcher 3 director making that vampire game, bro.
Yep.
We have a Michael B. Jordan vampire movie coming out. We have you guys ever seen Dracula 2000? Am I the one who's seen Dracula 2000? Come on, Gerard Butler plays Dracula.
You guys ever seen Jennifer's Body, dude?
No, I'm not a girl boss film student.
I have, dude. It's a fucking got vampires. Anyway, I think that's pretty much
anyway, watch Nosferatu, watch Interview with the Vampire. The show.
Thank you for your contribution, Bo. I'm not putting a guest starring Bo in this one because he didn't fucking talk that much. Anyway, see everybody.
Bye-bye.